So welcome to 35 to 1 Roulette Cruising. We've got a subscriber strategy. It's called Fibonacci DC. So we've got a strategy that was submitted by Shreyash, and it's called Fibonacci DC. And when he describes this the strategy to me through the email, you know, usually you hear about the Fibonacci dozen. And what he says he does is he actually plays a dozen and a column at the same time. So after going back and forth with some emails a couple times, I figured out that in order to play this strategy on any of the royal ships, you got to be a $10 minimum. So we're going to have to play the Fibonacci at the $10 level, which I'll put a graphic up right here and show you kind of how the bet progression works. You know, he's playing the dozen and a column at the same time. So your first bet would be $10 and $10. And then if it loses, it'd be 10 and 10 again. And then it would go 20, 20, or 30, 30, 50, 50, 80, 80, 130, 130, 210, 210, 340, 340, 550, 550. All right, so when you add all that up, that's $1,430 that you'd have to run just one part of the strategy. So in order to run this strategy at the $10 level, we're going to have to buy in for $3,000. Now that's a lot higher than any of the rest of us normally play with. But hey, this is what he sent me. This is we're just trying to make it to where it's you know, cruise friendly as far as your minimum goes. So your minimum on a royal ship is normally, or it has been for the past year or so, a $10 minimum. So you'd have to have $10 on the outside. So we're going to play it that way and see how it goes. So I'm going to get the graphic out of the way here, set this down, and then I'm going to have a sheet here that I'm going to keep up with my bets, because it's two separate bets going at the same time. It's a lot to keep up with, you know, for one person, especially if you're sitting at a busy table. Even if you're not at a busy table, it's very difficult to keep up with this. So I'm going to kind of cheat with this paper here, and just going to get a couple orange chips, and we're going to say we're on step one, okay? So if everybody sees that, I'm going to put the graphic up here and you can kind of follow along. Let's see. So I have $1,500 in cash chips here. Let's see. So I have 300 in reds, which are $5 each. I have 700 in greens, which are $25 chips. And I have 500 in black, which are $100 chips. Okay, so that's 1,500 and 1,500. One stack's going to be for the columns. One stack's going to be for the dozens. Okay, so we're going to try to run this system and see how it goes. And let's see. So we've got our first spin. We're going to try to go 20 spins with it and see what happens. All right, so he also says that he chases the dozen or the column that hits. Okay, so we're not going to count this one as a spin. We're going to establish our first number and just see where it lands, okay? All right, so 33. Okay, so it lands there. So we're going to go the third 12 there, and we're going to go to the third column at $10 each. All right, here we go. That's spin one. So now it's started. Now it's just going to be a matter of, can I keep up with everything? It's a lot to keep up with moving this, because if one wins, you pay it, but if the other one loses, you go up on it. So they're both going to be working their own bets at the same time, okay? All right, so 14. Okay, so that's a loss and a loss. And we're taking both to the next step, which is $10 each again. Now we're chasing the dozen and chasing the column, okay? We're hoping for a repeater on either the column or the dozen. I'm going to leave the marker here so everybody can see where the last number was that hit and just kind of see why I'm placing the bets where I'm placing them. Okay, 34. All right, so that's a loss here, a loss here. All right, now we're going to step 3 on both of them. So now we're going $20 on the column, $20 on the third dozen. Yeah, it'd be hard to play this one, especially if one of them wins and then we go back up to step 1. That's when it really gets really very difficult to keep up with. All right, 14. All right, that's a loss on both. All right, going to the next step. Now we've got to go 30 and 30. So $30 here. $30 on the column. Okay. Now we're on spin number 4 and step 4. All right. 24. Okay, so we win this one, but we lose this one. Okay, so we're going to pull that. We're going to pay out. So there's the win right there for that. Okay. So because of that, we're going to take the dozens back up to step 1. We're going to the next step on the column now. All right, so dozens, that's $10. And let's see, it's $50 on the column. All right, y'all tell me what you think. As we go through this, just tell me what you think of a strategy like this. Would you run a strategy to where you're having to keep up with 2? I don't want to give it a negative comment at the moment. All right, 23. All right, so this is a win, but this one is a loss. We'll pay the winner. Okay. Now this one's going to stay the same, the dozen, but the column, we're going to $80. Okay, so we're going to say $10 on the second dozen, and we're going to go $80 on the middle column. So right now we're down $80 is what our losses are right here for right now. Okay, 26. All right, we finally hit that column, but this one's a loss. Okay, but the column over there pays 80 and 80. One more green. Okay, so there's our wins there. Okay, so we know our dozen, we have to come a step to the next step. The column will go back up to step 1. All right, so we're going to put $10 on the column and bring everything back. And then the dozen is going to be at $10 again for step 2. Okay? All right, now we're set, ready to go. All right, this is spin 7. Okay, 23. Okay, so this is a loss here. But we have a win on the column. Okay, we know the column's going to stay at 10. The dozen is going to go to 20. Okay, so here's 20 for the dozen. So it's pretty steep buy-in for, wait, did he hit 23? Well, we won that one. Hold on. So we won that. It was 10. What did I do? How did I screw that up? Okay, so there's that. We're going to pay that. And both of them are on step 1 now. Oh, what in the world? But I think I collected that 10, so I think I should have gotten that back. So if that was there, this was here, and there. I think that's right. Okay. All right, so we're back to step 1. All right, here we go. I think I've already moved the chip. See how confusing it can get? I think I'm right now. It's real easy to get confused with so much going on at the same time. All right, so 4. So these two lost. All right, so we're going to step 2 on both. $10 there and $10 on this column. All right, it's only spin 9. Okay, 26. Okay, so we lost a dozen. We lost a column. Going to the next step, which is 20 and 20. So now we're 20 here and 20 here. I think I've screwed something up. All right, 27. All right, so win here, but lost right here. Okay, so we're going to pay this right here. Okay, we're going to drop that back down to 10. All right, so this is here, this is here. All right, so our column's going to 30. So we're going to put 30 there. We got 10 there. Yeah, I think I screwed up my payment a minute ago. All right, we're going to say I screwed it up a while ago. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to give back, I think I took $30. So I'm going to put $30 back over here. So maybe that's correct. Maybe I've corrected what has happened a few spins back. All right, 19. Okay, so this is a loss here, a loss here. All right, we're going a step for each. All right, so column is going $50 each, or $50 there, and our dozen is $10. Okay. And I'm sure you guys put in the comment, did I screw it up or not? And if you don't mind, hit that like button for me. It sure helps to get the views out. We're so close to 1,500 subscribers. I appreciate all the subscribers that the channel has received. Oh, we hit 27 again. Great hit. Okay, so the column gets paid and the dozen gets paid. They go back up, both of them go back up to step 1. Okay, so that's $10 on the dozen already, $10 on the column. I'm gonna leave that there. I think that's kind of where I screwed myself up a minute ago. I had that marker sitting out there, and I think I lost that bet. Is what I'm thinking back. That's the problem with running these strategies. You know, we do something, we screw something up, and then we have to try to fix it. All right, 18. Okay, so this dozen lost. That dozen, or not dozen, that column won. So the column stays at step 1. The dozen goes to step 2. All right, are y'all following along? Okay. 00, loss and loss. Okay, so when that happens, he didn't say in his email what he would do under that situation, but I'm going to say we're going to stick with the same dozens that we were just on, either the dozen or the column. We're just going to stick with that. Okay, so we're both there. So now we'll go $20 on the dozen, and we're going to go $10 on the column. Now this is spin 15. Okay, 1. Okay, it's a loss and a loss. Okay. All right, so there we go. So we're at 30 on the dozens, or on the dozen here. So $30 here, $20 on the column. All right. Okay, 25. Okay, so the dozen lost, but the column won. Okay, so the dozen going to 50, columns going back to 10. Okay, so this is going to 50 on the dozen, 10 on the column. All right, spin 17. Okay, 7. All right, so loss on the dozen. The win on the column. Just going to stay at 10. Okay, the dozen is going to 80. Let's see. So there's 75, there's 80. All right, we're really looking for these four numbers to hit, because that's kind of like your jackpot location. So you can get this bet and that one to hit. That's kind of the gist of what he's trying to do here. Okay, 1. Bingo. All right, so that's what we wanted to have happen. Both of them are winners. Okay, so we got 10 and 10 there. And then this is $80 right here. So there's 80 and 80. We're going to collect all that. And we're going back to step 1 on the dozen. And step 1 on the column. Okay. All right, spin number 19. We're almost finished. What's y'all's thoughts? Do you think you can keep up with this on a busy table without some form of cheat sheet? I would have to have a sheet or something to work with. That's just me. Okay, 28. All right, so we lost this dozen. And the column down here was a win, but we're not going to increase it any because we've actually got profit here. So let's leave it the same. Okay, so we know this column here, we got paid there. We're not increasing it. So that's what he said. If you hit on step 1, don't increase. If you only hit one of them, don't increase it. I probably should have told you that earlier, but I don't think we've had that happen yet. But we were on step 1 for both the dozen and the column. We were here for the dozen. It hit, and we actually had $10 profit. So we're going to keep them the same. This is spin 20. There's no reason to increase if you're in profit. And I'm sure with that, with the profit, the payout, and all that stuff, you could probably keep up with that a little bit, and it might help you know when to reduce. But I'm running it how I would think you would have to, downgrade it and stuff. All right, bingo. We hit it just perfect on the last spin there. All right, because we won on the column and we won on the dozen. Okay. All right, there we go. So we had 20 spins. That's the column there. And there is the dozen. And we started with $1,500 in each tray. So let me count it out, and I'll be back. Okay, so there we have it. It's the Fibonacci DC strategy. And after all that, 20 spins, we had $100 profit on our dozens. And we had $210 profit on our columns. This one's a tough one for me. If probably just playing one or the other would be my suggestion. But if you can keep up with it, it gives you opportunity. It's almost like playing 2 sessions at the same time. Okay, but it's a lot to keep up with, especially when they're at separate locations. Different bets. It's kind of hard to keep up with it without some form of cheat sheet, in my opinion. Now, some people may be able to process and be able to keep up with this easy enough, but for me, I would probably have to have a paper because one conversation with somebody beside me, and before you know it, I've forgotten where I was at, right? But not saying it's terrible, but I have seen the Fibonacci played on dozens and columns, and all it is just putting the two together. The bankroll size, I'm not a fan of the bankroll size. You know, to play a strategy like this, I mean, you're taking $3,000 to the table, $3,000, 20 spins for a profit of $310. I don't know if it's worth it or not, because if you get on a bad run and before you know it, you're down here. We never gotten, you know, above $80 for this session, but I played this a couple of sessions already, and I run out of money. I think run out of money twice on the columns. Okay, I played it 3 sessions. I pretty well broke even the one session. I lost a couple of sessions of column. I lost all the money in the column, but my dozens seemed to be okay. I think I pretty well broke even on the columns, or not the columns, the dozens. But you know, I find it hard to play this strategy at this level. Now, if you can find a table that's got a minimum, you know, like $1 or something like that, and yeah, try it. You know, give it a try. You won't need $3,000 to play this strategy, but you need to have a walk away. That's one thing you need to establish with this strategy is a walk away. Maybe if I get up 100, walk away. Maybe just play one or the other. But if you can keep up with both of them, hey, that's an option to go with. But Shreyash, I appreciate you sending me the strategy. And you know, if you have a strategy you want me to try out, just email it to me at roulettecruising@gmail.com. Just send it to me. I'm looking for $300 to $400 buy-ins is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for strategies that at that bankroll can either be profitable or turn into a great comp strategy. That's what I'm shooting for with the strategy when I test them out. This was kind of outside of the norm of what I would look for to run out a strategy and test it out. But with any strategy, they always work until they don't. So you give it a try, see how it goes. If you can find a lower minimum table, you know, hey, give it a try with some smaller chips, and it might be successful for you. But anyway, well, I appreciate you guys watching, and make sure to like and subscribe to 35 to 1 Roulette Cruising. And until next time, happy cruising, and see ya.